Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast. I'm your host and headmaster, Jared, the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and you can find all of us here at the Nerd Academy podcast, along with our other shows, Knights of the Nerd Republic and Campus Life, on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Our main shows are released at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time wherever you find podcasts. And don't forget to check out our Patreon where every donation helps us keep the lights on. Without further ado, this week on the show, we have Joel, the Sentinel Basin, back.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all staying inside, staying healthy, and our prayers are with you all.
Indeed, my friend. And we also have Black Leader, Travis Grossman.
In another timeline, we're in a Zoom call and you heard a can crack, but this is not that timeline.
No, it is not. We totally did not try to do this over Zoom, and it totally did not make my computer crash. We do have a decent amount of news for you guys this week. Some of it interesting, some of it relieving, and some of it is quite upsetting. With that, Travis, how was your week, buddy?
That about sums it up.
Yeah.
Basically, I had a seasonal allergy, not attack. My allergies flared up on Saturday. Only I took an allergy pill and it didn't help right away, so I got kind of freaked out, thinking it wasn't allergies. Ended up leaving work early. Came home, kind of spooked. Everything ended up being fine. Ended up being a good thing almost, because it helped me reset my sleep schedule.
Blessing in disguise.
So, yeah, I'm not up till 4 a.m. and sleeping till 1 p.m.
I mean, listen, you got to take the most of the coronation that you can.
Yeah, but, it's not actually a coronation for me.
Yeah, I know, it's not.
So,
but yeah.
I actually went for a walk today, because it's beautiful outside. Got a little crispy.
Yeah, we saw your shoulders are a nice shade of red.
Yes.
But yeah, we're glad you're feeling better, man.
Me too.
And we were all freaking out a little bit on your behalf. With that, Joel, how was your week, buddy?
Well, I think I speak for all of us when I say that we're all kind of bored out of our minds, and so I'm trying to occupy myself, whether it's watching movies. I watched Ad Astra with Brad Pitt, and I watched a Netflix original movie called The Platform. It's originally in Spanish, I believe, and overdubbed English. Let's just say I wouldn't exactly recommend it as a good use of your time to watch The Platform, but I will tell you it's rather interesting and it has some high ratings on IMDb. But wow, I have no words for that movie. So if it piques your interest, I would at least try if you have time. I mean, we have a surplus of it nowadays, but other than that, I've just been relaxing, trying to get back into the groove of things, trying to focus on studying and completing my well, I am a full-time student still, regardless of being on or off campus. Trying to keep my mind moving, stay intellectual in some manner of the form, read books, and the such. But other than that, everything's good on this end. How about you, Jared?
Yeah, same thing here. Just trying to make the most of our time. My dad's birthday was the other day. It was this past Friday, so we had some fun with that. In my boredom and trying to find new things to do, I've taken up Grand Theft Auto, and it turns out I'm not very good at it. The video game, not the crime. Not turned to a life of crime. In these...
On the contrary, you were fantastic at the crime.
Yes, I cut quite an intimidating figure when it comes down to it. But yeah, I've been having fun with that. What else have I been doing? Close to finishing up Death Note, which we're very much looking forward to. We have enough news this week, so we don't necessarily have to pad things out with the What Are We Watching segment. But yeah, doing the best we can with the time that we have. Had a lot of fun on Saturday. We had our friend Ross Adams from Beyond the Outer Rim on Knights of the Nerd Republic. That was a hoot. He was a lot of fun, and yeah, just looking forward to making content. Spencer and I are going to start workshopping another little series that's going to be coming to our patrons in the nearish future. So keep your ears to the ground for that. With that, we're going to hop into the news this week. Disney has updated its release slate for everything that's going to be happening post all of the coronavirus delays. This is from Julia Alexander of The Verge. Disney is making a number of changes to its upcoming theatrical release dates in order to accommodate delayed films such as Black Widow and Mulan, including Artemis Fowl, the movie that was set to release on May 29th, is being sent directly to Disney+. Mulan is now going to open on July 24th of this year. Originally, it was supposed to release on the 27th of March. Fox's Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds and Taika Waititi will now open in December on the 11th instead of July 1st. And Jungle Cruise moves back a full year all the way to July 30th. Other notable delays from Disney include the fifth Indiana Jones movie going from July 9th, 2021 to July 29th, 2022. The French Dispatch, the next movie from Wes Anderson, moving to July 24th to October 16th. And New Mutants does not have a new release date yet. We are, however, aside from those films, having new release dates for all the MCU movies, which is what most of you guys are here for. A number of Marvel movies have shifted their dates, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Black Widow is now set to open up on November 6th, as opposed to its May 1st release date, which was originally held by the Eternals. Eternals will now be opening next year on February 12th, the spot that was originally held by Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The release date bumping continues as such. Shang-Chi will now open on May 7th in 2021, which moves Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness to November 5th of the same year. Thor Love and Thunder will now open on May 28th, 2022, and Black Panther 2, which originally held that date, Thor Love and Thunder will open on February 28th, and Black Panther keeps its May 8th, 2022 release date, but the Captain Marvel sequel will open 2 weeks early on July 8th, 2022. The direct quote from The Hollywood Reporter reads as follows: "To avoid catastrophic losses to the studio, these titles must have the fullest possible theatrical release around the world." This is according to the National Association of Theater Owners, the other NATO. While one or two releases may forego theatrical release, it is understanding from discussions with distributors that the vast majority of deferred releases will be rescheduled for theatrical release as life returns to normal. So this is interesting. I know we were all hedging our bets as to what would happen if they pulled the trigger on Mulan and Black Widow to go straight to Disney Plus in some capacity. However, they have decided to let Artemis Fowl be the guinea pig for that, which I think is a smart call. Obviously, there's not as much riding on that movie as there is a Mulan or an MCU flick. Very interesting release schedule. I like that Thor Love and Thunder comes out in February now.
Yeah.
Or I believe it comes out in February. Let me double check that. I think that's right.
You just read it, dude.
I know.
Come on.
It was a lot of dates there. Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not.
Yeah, okay. 28th. It's on the 28th of February.
He did it.
So, like I said, there's so many dates there to keep track of. But yeah, Phase 4 has been pushed further into the timeline than I think any of us were expecting. Thoughts on this, Travis?
Makes sense. I mean, it gives them more time to work on the movies as a whole. They now don't have to worry about trying to, like, if let's say they rescheduled Black Widow for like middle of summer.
Yeah.
If this is still going on, then they don't have to reschedule it again.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was probably the safe bet of like, what if we just knock everything back a movie, and it gives everything more time production wise, so things will be better later. I wouldn't be surprised coming out of this if we get like Eternals gets like a couple extra reshoots once this all blows over, or like Shang-Chi brings on a couple, like, you know, the usual things that people will tend to look at and go, oh, the movie's going to be bad and they're changing it last minute. But like, it won't be last minute. They'll just be like, oh, we can change this up because we weren't super fans of that.
Yeah.
You know, if they crunch something for time. But yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Joel, your thoughts on this?
I think it's all very unfortunate, but I think that's a shared thought amongst everyone. No, I don't know. I don't think there's much else to say other than just saying, we've been put into this situation by things that are out of our control, and we just kind of have to ride it out and see what happens and go with the flow here. I mean, we can't be too upset about it, otherwise. I think that's pointless at this point. So.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that we've been talking about that goes hand in hand with this is like how this will affect movie theaters in the grand scale moving forward. A lot of the trades that speculate on the goings on of the economy and Wall Street and all of those things are projecting that that regardless of how the studios handle this is going to deal a major blow to a lot of movie theaters around the world. Currently, all of the movies are looking at a change to their original projected releases. Mulan is looking at a $300 million opening weekend now. Black Widow is looking at a projected $250 million now, as opposed to what it was looking at like before, which was higher. These are all things to be expected with delays and whatnot, but I'm glad to know that Disney is.
At the very least, it's telling that like Disney. We talked last week with Wonder Woman, like Warner Brothers, like these companies aren't just saying, "Well, we're done with theaters. We're just going to push everything to immediate release." That like they are aware the spending power the cinema has.
Yeah.
Right. And that they're still willing to bank on that even post Corona, whatever. So it's one of those, like, it's one of those weird things where it's kind of not unsettled, calming.
Yeah.
Everyone go, no, yeah, we're still like theaters will be a thing. You know, there isn't going to be this huge social collapse.
Yeah, and again, that's assuming
that we don't all die in the next month.
Well, that and that the movie theaters are able to come back from this loss of revenue. Like that's the big thing is how many theaters are going to be able to get back up and dust everything off and get back into the fight, which I hope is most. I hope at least our local ones can.
The big chains will for sure.
Again, here's hoping. I know there's been a couple publications that are questioning whether or not AMC can survive it. I really hope it does. All my friends who I worked with up there, I would really hope to not see them out of a job, obviously. And I would also...
They're bad news, but they are currently out of a job, Jared.
Well, I mean permanently. I mean once the dust settles and everybody's back to normal, that they're continually out of a job and have to completely forego what they're doing up there. But yeah, interesting stuff. Looking forward to how this shakes out. I don't think there's any official word on how this is going to affect the Disney Plus release schedule. I don't think they've said anything about what is to happen with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to my knowledge at least. So yeah, moving right along. That's all we have for Marvel this week. Travis, since you are the CW verse wonk, I leave this next unfortunate story to you.
Yeah, thanks. We need to talk about the dead kid.
Jesus.
Hey, I'm the one that told you to put it in the first place.
Yeah.
The Flash actor Logan Williams, who played child Barry Allen in flashback scenes in The Flash on the CW, has unfortunately passed away at the age of 16. I don't believe we currently have a cause of death.
I think you're right. I didn't see anything. I just saw that he passed.
Yeah, when this story broke, they weren't giving a cause of death. Yeah, so his agent broke the news. They didn't give a cause of death, and they still haven't. So we haven't, like, there's not even, like, rumors surrounding this. At least I haven't seen any. There's no, like, he died in a hospital, and maybe that means this. Like, none of that. He's just this kid in the acting business has passed away, and he happens to be on our radar. And love and well wishes to his family.
Absolutely.
That's just tragic.
It is yeah, and like I got, it broke my heart reading the post that Grant Gustin made about it.
That's how I found out.
Yeah.
Was, I saw his post on Instagram and was like, a child has died.
Yeah. And it was very jarring as well, because like I didn't watch enough to recognize what had happened, so just seeing the kid, I was like, who is this? What's the relation there? And then I read it, was like, oh, okay. It all makes sense now. I
assumed that that's who he was. But
yeah. Nothing but well wishes and love to the Williams family. With that, we have more very disturbing Flash-related news.
Flash having a bad week.
Yeah, a bad week for Flash people. Now, this unto itself is very disturbing and unsettling. So, yes, this does affect the movie. However, just saying this up front, up top, obviously the more important thing here is the very unsettling video that was taken of what had happened. However, this does also affect the news that we report on. Ezra Miller, the DCEU Flash, appears to be choking a woman in a video. He was approached by a fan, and I believe it was a Scandinavian country. I can't remember if it was Norway.
Iceland,
thank you. I couldn't find it in the article. But yeah, he was in Iceland. Thank you, Joel. And he was there. A couple fans came up to him asking for an autograph. And then Ezra Miller, kind of very in a strange, sudden way, approached the one woman like, hey, you want to fight? You want to fight? And then like grabbed her by the throat and like put her to the ground as like the person filming it, like the camera started to shake. He was like, hey, stop it. And then the video ends. Some people have been speculating as to whether or not it was like a joke and whether or not they were goofing around. It is hard to tell in either direction, since, you know, she is very gently taken to the ground in the video. However, the person filming it also reacted in a very frantic way. So at the very least, the person filming thought the person was in danger. So with all of that said, the Flash movie has been in such a state of disarray. Assuming more news around this video doesn't come to light and we don't hear more about what happened, and it doesn't turn out to be them goofing around and making some viral video, I don't know how you go forward with this movie, especially with Ezra Miller attached to it as a producer, partial writer, and star, obviously. This one thing after another, The Flash has essentially become the DC version of New Mutants with the amount of delays. Ezra Miller and Warner Brothers have yet to comment, and it appears that whenever Ezra Miller was taken out of the location that this happened at, he seemed to be upset and angry. afterwards. So I don't know where this leaves Flash. I don't know what they do next.
Great.
Not great at all. You know, and this is just disgusting. It's especially weird coming from him because his whole demeanor has always been so incredibly laid back and relaxed, and you know, he does not come across as an aggressive person.
Right. So here's the thing. We have to understand, at least as intellectual, normal human beings on this planet, how much to accredit this article. Obviously, there's a lot of discrepancy, if you will. There's not enough concrete information to condemn him, if you will. What?
That was a really bad choice of words, Joel.
I mean,
there's not enough concrete information.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, this is not a laughing matter.
It's not, but also
obviously all of us here absolutely hate the idea of this actually being true.
There's the only level of comedy to this, besides what you just said, Joel, is that this isn't the first time a DC live action production star has been in an altercation with a fan.
What was the other time?
Manu Bennett, the guy who plays Slade in the Arrowverse. The reason he was not on the show after he left in season 2 was because he got into some trouble hitting I think it was hitting a fan.
Oh, I didn't know he got into a fight with a fan too.
Yeah.
That's weird. I didn't know that's a thing.
Yeah, that apparently all cleared up because he got back into the show. But, yeah, like this isn't the first time this has happened.
Right. We just have to be aware, though, that everybody is not guilty unless proven otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, again, like the video is not great, and it's confusing that like she goes down in a very
so slowly, so gently.
Yeah, but again, like the person filming got freaked out, and they also say that the people who were at this bar were also saying.
Also, like, he's clearly drunk, right? Like, can we all agree on that?
I don't know. I wouldn't. There's not enough information, I don't think.
I would not be surprised. I mean, it's happening at a bar, and he's acting very erratically.
If you turn on the audio to the video, you can hear him slurring his speech. Like, he's pretty clearly intoxicated. But
the thing for me is, like, if you go slowly through the video, I don't know personally. I can't tell. But I was talking with Travis about this earlier. It looks almost like it's a mattress that she goes onto. It's a box. It has a brown side. It's very rectangular.
See, to me, it looks like a concrete curb. Hence you making the joke. But I really don't think it is. At least that's my personal opinion. Again, I'm not saying that I guess I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he doesn't have a record of any, at least the article says that there is no previous altercations involving Miller before. Just that it's, again, not enough information to really say anything. I just don't want the community to obviously to shame him for something that obviously if he wanted to come out and say something clear the air, he probably should. Silence is kind of making him seem more guilty.
I mean, it's just it's a horrible look, and I don't understand like the humor in it, and I just and I'm rewatching the video right now, and there is like a slowness to it, like it's not like like he's like grabbing her and then thrusting her into the ground. However, and I forgot about this part upon rewatching it, when he presses her up against that wall behind her, that's when I question, and normally I would fall somewhere closer to where you are, Joel, with the whole like, you're in a bar and a fight starts. Shut the fuck up. And it's so hard to keep track of like everything that's happening. But like with the video there, and especially with him pinning her, which I watched the video earlier, and didn't get a chance to rewatch it again before recording, but rewatching it now, something needs to be said and done here on his part. Like, not, and again, like, not even about like, oh, so we get a movie about the Flash. Like, it's not a, it's gross inherently.
Right.
It's, you know, it's ugly behavior, you know,
also, yeah, that's definitely concrete. I'm looking at it on slow-mo. It's definitely concrete.
And again, like what you were saying, Joel, like the brevity of the video doesn't do anybody any favors. You know, like granted, the friend who's with that person when it happens, you know, if I saw one of you guys getting slammed into the ground by somebody, I probably would stop filming to get involved. But by the same token, like it's just so weird coming from him, and he sounds like he's just goofing around at the very beginning.
Can I also just say he's wearing sandals and it looks like it's snowing?
Of course it is.
Just saying.
I mean, he's in Iceland. Everything's wacky over there.
It's just so it's unexpected from him, and I'm you know disappointed by it. Like even if it is, even in the event that it's staged,
if it's a joke video, it's a bad joke.
Yeah,
and if it's not a joke video, that's
even worse.
Way worse.
Yeah.
So yeah,
all around bad.
Yeah. So. Hopefully this is handled with the grace and tact that it deserves, and that there is some amount of responsibility taken on Ezra Miller's part. Again, it's strange, you know, like not that like how do I put this? Not that it's like if it were Ben Affleck, I think none of us would be surprised if Ben Affleck like got into a fight with a fan and like attacked a fan. Because he has a history of being a little bit more on the aggressive side. You know, he has his issues with substance abuse where like he's had that history of like acting erratically and misbehaving, that I think that like the shock value of, oh, it's Ben Affleck. And I just use that as an example, but like the fact that it's Ezra Miller is just so out of left field, if that makes sense. But
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't lessen.
No, not at all, of course.
I don't know. Like, I think no matter what, this is damaging to his career. He just, like, depending on how he handles it going forward, you know?
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. And I hope he is able to.
I mean, it says something that this apparently happened on the 1st, and the article is dated for the 6th.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, like, how long was this just kicking around on the internet before people started reporting on it? It's just unfortunate all around, and I hope everybody involved is, you know, okay and isn't too frazzled by the whole ordeal, and that that this mess is handled and taken care of both on Ezra Miller's part and on Warner Brothers' part, and that they handle this appropriately and adequately. But like you said, Travis, I don't think there's any true coming back from this from that perspective. Again, Travis, a story up your alley with Titans.
Up my alley is a strong phrase.
I mean, it's your favorite show on television right now.
I would go to the thing that's digging my grave. Nothing.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And apparently also digging Barbara Gordon's grave because in a quote from show director and cinematographer Boris Marzovsky, another Boris that's in the news. Direct quote, "Our first episode will have a new character and it will be Barbara Gordon. So there you go. We're very excited, and there's a new set, and more importantly, even than the reveal of that character, is that we're back in Gotham." Back in Gotham is a strong turn of phrase considering the last time we were in Gotham, it was a nightmare sequence.
You see, Travis, everything counts.
Yeah, huh? So, All he said was that it was Barbra. We don't know if this is Oracle, Batgirl, just Barbara Gordon, like pre-Batgirl up, but I doubt that because who knows with this whole timeline, right? Like Bruce was almost old enough to retire by the time he took Dick on as his ward, so
do you, just sheer speculation here, has there been any, like, hinting at what Barbara may or may not be up to in the show at this point?
The last time they were in Gotham and they weren't at Wayne Manor was a dream sequence.
Okay.
It was the dream sequence at the end of season 1 where Dick gets taken over by Trigon.
Where he kills Bruce, right?
Yeah.
In the nightmare sequence. With how much Titans likes to show off its iconic characters, not necessarily in a good way, but like, you know, when that Robin suit came to light, it was the pinnacle of season 1. Like, that was all the promotional stuff. Everything was about, like, look how good this Robin suit is. And how quick they were to, like, show off Nightwing once that was an option. And, like, have so much of the narrative in season 2 from what you said before leading up to showing off the Nightwing suit and it just being about him becoming Nightwing. I would be surprised if we don't see Barbara in a bat suit.
I mean, the fact that they're back in Gotham and they're saying, like, Barbara will be there in the first episode and we're back in Gotham kind of tells me that it's going to be Batgirl. But I still don't, like, I'm not looking forward to it because I don't want them to kill off not kill off, but like,
take a dookie.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it on Barbara, just because, like, they're like, however many characters are in Titans for that many in terms of doing that. And except for Slade. Slade was really cool. He had like 3 scenes.
Holy shit. It's Deathstroke. So, do you, based on the trajectory of the end of the second season, do you have any, like, ideas to what they might be trying to do with Barbara? Like,
no,
what direction it might be going in?
I don't know why they're back in Gotham. They seemingly have no reason to be. Unless, like, Jason goes back to Gotham and he happens to run into Barbara. But season 2 ends with spoilers for Titans. Hopefully you didn't watch it. But they send Donna's body back to Themyscira. Jason is, like, there for the funeral, and him and Dick have, like, a nod of acknowledgement because they're fighting, and Jason leaves. And then they all kind of, we get the group walking shot in slow-mo of them in an alley being the Titans. But that's it.
Now, when you say Jason leaves, is he like, I can't do this shit anymore type leaves, or is he still...
Like, he almost kills himself and then leaves. And then he leaves with, what's her name? Rose. Who then we find out was Judas contracting them. So then he gets freaked out even more and leaves her. And then she goes back and helps the Titans. And
so
you need to watch. It's hard to explain because the story makes no sense.
Is there
and the answer to this is I need you to watch Titans.
Yeah. I will cry before I do it, and then eventually I'll do it. Is there a clear answer as to whether or not he's still working with Bruce? I guess is my question.
No.
No, he's not, or no, we don't know.
No, we don't know. There's no, so like, God, you're making me talk about this fucking show. Okay. So Bruce is like, Jason goes with the Titans to train, kind of in the same way in the Teen Titans movie that isn't Judas Contract in the animated movies. It's kind of like what he does to Damian.
Okay.
Where he sends Damian to the Titans so that he can learn teamwork and like mature. He does this. He's kind of doing that with Jason.
Okay.
When Jason leaves with Rose, they go and just muck up some drug dealers and are kind of hopping. Like they'll relieve a house of its drug house purposes, and then just stay there for the time being. And they tend to be inhabiting like these bigger, like whatever.
Yeah.
Eventually, when him and Rose split, Rose goes off and helps. Like basically, she leaves to be part of the climax of the season. That happens. The funeral scene happens. Jason's there on the run, like he's there on the runway on a motorcycle. Nods to Dick.
It doesn't even get off.
Like he like stops and he looks at them and he's like kind of paying his respects to Donna because Donna didn't do him any harm. And Dick looks at him and they kind of like acknowledge each other for a second, and then he drives off, and then no one notices him leave.
Oh. So
even though he's on a silent runway on a motorcycle, so then somehow Bruce hasn't been tracked. Like I'm sure Bruce is tracking him, but like he doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, that's really strange. So maybe that is the return to Gotham then? Is that's him going back to Bruce? Or
but Bruce is with so Bruce was with the Titans and then
at the funeral or
yes.
Oh, so Bruce, what the hell is happening?
That's a great fucking question, Darren.
That's so confusing.
Watch Titans with me and you'll find out.
Oh, that's strange. So, I mean, they could be doing that, or they could just like
be introducing another character to make awful so that I hate the show even more. Yeah, you're right.
I mean that, but also the introduction of Barbara might inherently just be to, or the whole Gotham thing might just be them introducing Barbara on her own. Like maybe she's not affecting the rest of the story, but that would be weird.
I just like. The building of the Bat family doesn't make sense to me right now because Bruce took in Dick. Like Bruce didn't take in, from what I remember, Bruce doesn't like adopt Dick until after the Justice League is formed,
and
like
even later for Jason. Yeah, obviously. So that
then he.
How has Barbara not come up? That's one thing I think the CW verse did a good job of, where it was very good at like dropping nuggets that they could come back to. Because they recognized it would be weird if they didn't address other forces in the universe.
Uh-huh. Well, it's like we never got a proper on-screen Green Lantern, but they mentioned Hal's plane going missing.
Yeah.
So like that option was there.
Yeah, and I just, like you said,
apparently we didn't talk about this. Apparently, like one of the original drafts for the ending before like they expanded it into a bigger universe was going to be that Oliver inspires Bruce to become Batman.
I heard that floating around somewhere. I didn't realize that was a.
Yeah, I only saw the headline a couple times, but that concept just makes me chuckle immensely.
So. Like you said, they just the specific point of the construction of the Bat family is very strange in this universe. At what point, unless they're going to keep doing this weird order where now Bruce is taking on a Batgirl after Jason, which is strange because the whole point of Dick and Barbara's relationship is that they're both being trained around the same time. Or
unless it's like, unless she was trained and then she left, not unlike like Donna and Hawken. Because like in season 1, we're shown that Dick and Donna had a working relation, not like relationship, but like we're working together while Bruce and Diana were working together.
Yeah.
And that like Donna's kind of put the suit away and then started doing her own thing, and Dick has not put the suit away. Only he set the suit on fire then, and it's a whole thing. But then like also Dick has worked with Hawk and Dove on his own, and like maybe we're gonna find out that also in the time before the Titans, he worked with Barbra.
That's so messy. Like
Again, they don't say the word Titan until season 2 of the show.
And that's only to say that there already was a version of the Titans.
Yes. Like, they go from never mentioning it once to somehow Starfire knowing about it.
That is so confusing. I'm like trying to wrap my brain around, like, again, like maybe they introduced Barbra, but that's just such a weird.
You can't, because the show is bad and makes no sense. Watch it, Jared.
That'll be my next one after Death Note. I'll try to stomach the first episode this week, but I don't. And granted, you don't have to always be comic accurate with things. Like the animated series is a great example. Like, Jason does not exist in the DCAU. He's never mentioned, he's never brought up, he's never been a part of the narrative. But you have Dick, Barbara, and Tim. Obviously, Damian wasn't a thing yet. But they make all that work, and
what?
In the animated universe.
You're talking about like Justice, like the
when
we were kids.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking the current movies.
No, not the movie universe. Obviously, Damian's there. And I love Damian in that universe, but
gave him 3 movies. I hope you know he's there.
Yeah. No, I've seen some of the movies that have Damian in it, so I know he's there. I mean, like the animated series. So, like, doing this weird construction of the Bat family where you might skip a Robin or a sidekick or two, it's not unprecedented, but it's just so strange the way that they're building it. Like you said, having Bruce not take on a Robin until he's already a member of the Justice League and damn near retirement age. And I don't understand what they're doing with the timeline. It's very peculiar, and I have many questions about it. And I'm pretty sure Joel just has gray matter oozing out of his ear holes at the moment.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, watch the show and have none of your questions answered and get very angry with me.
Angry with you or angry alongside you?
Alongside me. Also, maybe at me because I made you watch that.
Yeah, that might be exactly what happens. In a pleasant surprise, we actually have non-comic book movie news for you guys to hear, courtesy of Travis. So, since I have never touched a Magic the Gathering deck in my life, the floor is yours, sir.
They made Godzilla a magic card! The new standard Magic set, Ikoria Lair of Behemoths, releases later this month. Unfortunately, the pre-release has been canceled due to, world events.
For obvious reasons.
The theme of the set is, like, big monsters, kaiju, that kind of thing. And so Wizards of the Coast has actually teamed up with Toho Movie Company in Japan.
Oh, wow.
And so they have legitimate Godzilla cards in this set. In the show notes, I linked the spoiler website I use to keep up with all the cards that get spoiled as the set gets announced. But the way they're doing that is that, like, for the Godzilla cards, they are actually just a card in the main set with a different name, and on the card underneath their name box, they have like their legal card name. So in your deck, they count as that legal name, but as you're playing it, you can be like, I cast Ghidorah, King of the Cosmos.
That's awesome. I'm trying to find it.
If you go to the link on that I put in the show notes, at the very bottom, it shows all of the Godzilla promo cards.
Oh, okay. I got to the. Okay, cool.
They did have to. Fun story. They had to undo one of the printings because it's called Space Godzilla Death Corona. That's not a joke.
At least they were smart enough to rename it.
I mean, but they got through a couple printings of the card before that had to happen. So
somebody was asleep at the wheel.
There will probably be a few copies of it floating around, but you get such epicness as Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's your buy a box promo. If you buy a box of the set, you get a copy of Godzilla. BioQuartz Space Godzilla. Like a couple of different of Godzillas from the different movies. Like there's one for Shin Godzilla. There's one for like the recent 2014 series. Ghidorah has a card. Mothra has a card. King Caesar has a card. It's so cool. Like I woke up last week. The morning spoiler season started, and saw the Godzilla card in my like Twitter timeline and was like, oh, that's a cool fan card. They even put like the Ikoria set symbol on there. That's neat. Wait, why does it have a little thing under the name box? That looks like a real card name. Does some more Google searching. They made Godzilla a magic card.
So I remember the one that you sent into the chat the other day. Is Luca Coppercoat Outcast, is that the one that you were saying is the official Tiger King magic card?
Oh, Luca, yeah. So the other thing for this set is there's a new Planeswalker. His name's Luca. The alt art for this set, besides the Godzilla cards, is the like very comic booky, like monster movie poster art. And I sent in Luca's because it makes him look a little bit like the Tiger King.
Well, once I get into Magic, which is one of the things I'm meaning to do once all this is over, I'm seeking that one out, and I'm going to use that one as much as I can.
Actually, you can probably do a better job of getting into it before this is over.
Really?
So Magic has their free web client that you install onto your computer, Magic Arena. It does a great job of teaching you how to play. You get to play for free. It gives you free cards. It's how I've been recommending people learn how to play.
And that comes from you very graciously, seeing as you're a competitive player.
Ish. But like I haven't played Arena in a while. I prefer playing in paper because I like the social experience of playing with somebody else.
Oh, yes, of course.
And I'm upset that I don't get to play against other people that are playing things with creature types like Dinosaur Cat Nightmare, Nightmare Beast Elemental, Elemental Otter.
That I see that's the kind of shit that you wrote me in with. Like I like weird fantasy stuff, so and
this set is ridiculous and incredible, and I can't wait to play it. Also, for the first time, they're releasing the Commander precons. Commander is a format that I play a lot of because that's what everyone plays right now. Wizards of the Coast makes a set of Commander precon decks every year. This year, they're actually releasing alongside of this standard set. Usually, they get their own release in the summer. And so they're all kind of themed around this set too. So like it's double the big monster fun.
That's fun. It may not have been the last big set, but the last one I definitely remember you talking about. They did like a really coul Arthurian one.
A what?
Like an Arthurian legend one, or am I off the mark?
No, you're right. It's Eldraine, Throne of Eldraine. It was like Arthurian legend meets fairy tale lore, or like Grimm's fairy tales in one set, and that was also a very, very fun set.
It's a lot of cool stuff. Like Magic the Gathering's one of those, like, I've always been a sucker for the aesthetic of it. Mm-hmm. But like card games like that have always kind of intimidated me a little bit. And but it looks very interesting. Joel, you've done a little bit of Magic the Gathering yourself, right?
That I have.
Yeah?
Yeah. Spencer and I actually got into that probably around, I gotta say, sophomore, junior year of high school. Just I actually have my cards in my center console of my car at all times, just in case. I honestly
mine are all over the floor in front of where I'm recording right now.
That's fair. I didn't put too much money into it, but just enough to get started.
I could say the same.
Right. I actually do have a box of extra cards right beside me right now. But regardless, I couldn't tell you the first thing about the rules anymore. I completely forget how to play. But that'll just be an excuse for Travis and I to play sometime.
It'll be a fun time. I need to actually put Arena on this laptop, but we could definitely play Arena together, and it forces you to play by the rules. So
yeah, well, I would very much enjoy you teaching me a little something, and I could show you all my cards and stuff, and help me build some decks and stuff.
So that would be a fun Zoom call to do some point soon. Just everybody sit down, okay, Travis is going to put us through Magic Boot Camp.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I started playing senior year of high school, and then when I went to college, I had a couple pre-constructed decks. One of my friends from work had his old shoebox of cards, and he was like, "I don't want these. Please take these from me." So I took them because free cards.
Yes, of course. Why wouldn't you?
I went to college, moved in. One of my roommates was in marching band, so we moved in early together. And we're putting our stuff away, and my shoebox with cards is sitting there in the living room, and they're like, "Oh, hey, what's in there?" And I'm like, "Oh, you ever heard of Magic the Gathering?" And him and his brother were there together, and they were both just like, "Oh, we know."
oh, if you know, you know.
Oh boy, that's a great idea, Joel.
I love it. I love it. Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But yeah, that's a great idea. I'd love to do that with you guys.
You'll get to. I have to warn you, my preferred method of play is I love falling into what I call the competitive cadence of and I don't mean that in a snobbish way, but there's this kind of fun adrenaline rush to playing you and an opponent who both are used to playing at competitive rules enforcement, and you're both just going with the flow of the game almost.
No, I feel that.
Just something.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. No, yeah. That's one of those things where I've always wanted to do a competitive type thing, because when you introduce those rules, the way that you haphazardly do something in the comfort of your own home, it goes out the window. You have to you can't do house rules. You have to play the game as writ with a certain tactical mind that makes the game more fun to play. The closest I ever came to that was going to a couple Taekwondo tournaments back in the day, and even though the pressure was on, the sparring was so much more fun. You couldn't there wasn't the BS rule where the head instructor, just to taunt you, would crane kick you in the head just to mess with your mind. You can't do that kind of thing here. You have to do it as writ. So I know, me personally, I would enjoy playing against you in that format. Obviously, you are going to thunderclap me into the shadow realm, but I'm not opposed to having my ass handed to me. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. It's right up there with D&D, where I want to learn the rules of that so badly and get to experience
rule 1
that.
of D&D: have a good play group. Rule 2: enjoy yourself. Man, that's one of those things that you can just kind of free ball as you want.
Yeah, which is nice with this group. I'm sure this would be a hoot with this ragtag team of goofballs that we have. But yeah, we are just under an hour, so a relatively short show for you guys, as opposed to Travis and I talking about Batman v Superman for an hour and a half from last week, which I know he enjoyed.
Oh, very much.
Travis, where can the lovely people find you, buddy?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political.
Yes, indeed they can. And Joel, where can the lovely people find you?
The lovely people can find me on Instagram at jbasenback.
That is J Basenback Photography, because you cut out a little bit, at least for me.
Yeah, J Basenback Photography and Bass and Bacon Cosplay.
Absolutely, they can, and hopefully, conventions become a thing again, so that we can all do cosplay stuff again. Because I miss getting dressed up with the boys. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. Be sure to check out the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check out our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where you can also find our Patreon. If you guys are feeling generous and you want to chuck in a buck and help us keep the lights on here, it'd be greatly appreciated. Like I said, you'll be getting some content from us on there. Lots of fun stuff that we have planned coming down the pipeline. With that, thank you for listening, and class dismissed. And your homework is to learn how to play Magic the Gathering like the rest of us.